Hello, I'm DJ and this is winningmentalcoach.com. Let's talk about coronavirus pandemic and how it affects your life. So you're an elite athlete. You eat, sleep, train every single day. You work out to the very best of your capability, so that you can perform at your performance best in the big competition, be it the Olympic, be it the World Championship, or the weekly competition of your liking. Now the coronavirus hits you. What does it mean? Suddenly you lose everything. No job, no money, no training, no future, no plan. And all of a sudden it hits many of us with anxiety about health, and then it hits us with the fear of the unknowns. How do we deal with this? The first thing to remember is that you are not alone. It affects the whole world. Every athlete in every country are affected. So the question is, how do we keep our sanity and how do we get the best out of this situation? For today's quick talk, I just want to offer you 4 solutions so that you can take home and practice and make sure that you have the best time possible during this lockdown. Now, first and foremost, for every athlete that I'm working with, I suggest focus on the controllable. Imagine if tomorrow you are going to the Olympic. You're going to have 1,000 thoughts coming to your mind. What are you going to do? Are you going to perform well? Are you going to make your coach proud, your team proud? You're going to make your family happy? Are you going to have sponsor? What is going to happen if you don't? There's a lot of these kind of negative thoughts that can come and go in the athlete's mindset, and it affects athlete very bad in terms of performance. That's the same thing with this coronavirus. So what I would suggest you to do is to take out a list of paper, write down on one side of the column all the things that you can control. Now, what can you control in this coronavirus situation? What time you wake up, what you choose to eat, what you choose to spend the time, how long are you going to be working out in-house, for what frequency, for what intensity, what kind of book you read, who do you reach out for, what kind of book do you read for inspiration. So all of these are the things that are controllable. Now on the other side of the paper, please list down all the things that you think is out of your control. No jobs, no money to pay for the mortgage, no motivations, anything else. List it all out. Now after you have got the list, I would suggest you to choose 3 points from the controllable and 3 points from the uncontrollable. 3 of the most important or the most crucial to you. For the controllable, focusing on them, work with them, work toward the point that you become a master of these points. And for the 3 non-controllable, ignore them, set it aside, admit that it is there, but there's nothing you can do. So there's no more necessary energy should be used to focus on that point. You focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, and what you can control instead of what you can't control. Now the second point is about practice being disciplined. Every athlete has their life very well organized, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily. You probably have to train certain hours, you probably have to eat food at certain time, you probably have to sleep at certain hours. Don't lose all of these. Keep it as your best possible. If you normally wake up at 5 a.m., keep wake up at 5 a.m. If you normally train for 2 hours, do your best to train at the same amount of hours at the same period of time during the days. What it does is that it keeps your biological clock staying constant with what you normally do, and it will help you tremendously in what you want to do when you come back. You know, for those of you who choose not to practice with mental discipline during this time, there are a lot of consequences too. We are talking about people who are overeat, people who gain weight, people who sleep in irregular hours, and worst of all, people might lose the motivation to train once they come back. So don't do that. Now, third and the most important point, in my opinion, is to be creative and proactive in filling your day with the positive activities. What do I mean by that? Athletes are being measured by 4 different pillars: mental, physical, technical, tactical. And now is the time for you to actually sit down and rethink for your whole calendar year and your training. Of the 4 pillars, which one is my strong point? Which one do I need a lot more work? Now that you can't really train the physical as much, can you do some tactical training by watching video, by doing research on how other people, how other team play? From the mental point of view, what can you do? So being a mental coach, I would like to suggest to you 3 different exercises that you can use during this coronavirus time. First of all, focus on your breathing and relaxing exercise. Athletes know when they are under a lot of pressure, they feel the heart pump, they feel the palm sweat, they feel butterfly in their stomach, but they don't know how to deal with it. Now is your time. Go online, search for the breathing exercise. There are many of them out there. Go and do some yoga, go and learn mindfulness, meditations. Any of these things can help you with learning to control your emotion state. Secondly, imagery. How many times in the past have you used imagery to the best of your capability? If you are not convinced the effect of imagery, why not find out about what Sir Roger Bannister has been able to achieve with his 4-minute miles? Now, just for those of you who are not familiar with the story of Sir Roger Bannister, he was the first man on earth who broke that 1-mile run in less than 4 minutes. A milestone that many scientists and many medical doctors at that time think it is impossible for human being to do. And he chooses not to believe that. He chooses to practice his visualization at the same time practice his running on a regular basis. And on the May 6 in 1954, he broke that record of 3 minutes 59 and 4. Now, if you still don't believe me, and I don't ask you to believe me, go and research and find out what about all these greatest of all time like Michael Jordan or Michael Phelps have talked about how they use imagery to improve and put themselves beyond the normal bar of what they can. The sky's the limit with your ability of imagine. Third is the technique to control your arousal. Now, you probably know that there's an inverted U-shaped link between performance and arousal level. As your arousal level was low, performance level is low. At a certain level, your arousal, the performance gets to the peak, and then it drops again. Are you aware of your optimum arousal level? Were you able to control your optimal arousal in the past? Now, all these things, you can do it now. How do you do it? First, look back at the 3 to 5 last competition and start ranking for yourself. Now, how was my arousal level? How was my performance level? And as you start to having a few of these events into place, you can start making a measurement of what is your ideal level of arousal. And at that level of arousal, how does it affect your performance? So all of these things, you need to find out. And then you need to read more about how to be in the zone, how to walk into flow. So there are many things you can focus on. Now, besides these 3 exercises, I also want to emphasize on the last point, which is learning to become a solution-oriented and not a victim mindset. What I mean by victim mindset, there are many times and many people you probably know too, when things like this happen to them, what they say, oh, things is happening to me. There's nothing I can do about it. Yes, true, there's certain aspect of this pandemic is beyond our control, and that's a non-controllable. We don't want to deal with that. But there are factors that is within our control. Look, in the society, in the country that I'm living at the moment in Sydney, there are wine company who stop complaining, and instead of making wine, they start making hand sanitizers. Where the market is in need, and now they're booming. There are local coffee shop right down here. Instead of just serving coffee, they also serve grocery on takeaway. I also hear story of an Australian swimming national team who has asked his neighbor to use the dam at the backyard to become the practice swimming pool for him, despite a very dirty water. So as long as you become adaptable, as long as you have this solution mindset, you are gonna be fine moving forward in this pandemic. Now I really love this quote and I want to read it for you. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. Alexandra K. Tranfer. Now I believe in that too. So what I suggest for you today is a few solutions, it's a few directions that you can start implement today to make your coronavirus pandemic less boring, make it more useful, so that when the time comes when the pandemic is all over and you're back into the competition, you're so ready because in your mind you have practiced it. In your heart and your breathing, you know how to control your excitement level and you know how to link between your arousal level and performance, so that your performance as the time comes will be the best of what you can ever achieve. Now, with that, I would like to say goodbye to you. Enjoy the freedom in lockdown with a lot of positivity, looking for solution and not being the victim. And lastly, if you're an elite athlete, if you're struggling with mental issue dealing with this coronavirus pandemic, don't worry, reach out to me. Writing to me is at winningmentalcoach.com, or my email is winningmentalcoach.com, yeah, winningmentalcoach@gmail.com, sorry. So we can have a chat and we can talk about it and help you to deal with the issue. All right, thank you, bye bye.